Perhaps one of the most fascinating legends of the sea is that of Morgawr. Morgawr is Cornish and simply means sea giant, which is an appropriate name for the giant sea creature supposedly living right here in Falmouth Bay. There have been various sightings of Morgawr over the years, but the first dates back to 1876, when two local fishermen claimed to have caught a sea serpent in their nets. The story of the giant sea creature living in Falmouth Bay soon became a local legend. It was 1975, while out on an evening stroll at Pendennis Point, that a couple claimed to have seen a humpbacked creature lurking in the water. They described this creature as having a long neck, stumpy horns and bristles down its back. Not only were they able to observe this giant creature, the couple were lucky enough to witness it catching a conger eel in its mouth, before seeing it dive down into the depths again. But it was in 1976 when the first photographs of Morgawr started to appear. A mysterious Mary F. sent 2 photographs to a local magazine with a cover note describing the creature as looking like an elephant waving its trunk, but the trunk was a long neck with a small head at the end, like a snake's head. However, the identity of Mary F. remains anonymous, and the negatives have never actually been traced, so there is no way of proving whether or not the photos were actually genuine. The fact that the creature is said to look like the Loch Ness Monster has led to the theory that Morgawr is actually a plesiosaur that lives in the Falmouth area, and that this explains all the sightings over the years. However, the main drawback to this theory is that plesiosaurs were thought to be extinct along with the rest of the dinosaurs over 70 million years ago. Another more likely theory is that Morgawr is some kind of long-necked seal species yet to be identified. It is perhaps more probable that an undiscovered seal species could live around the Falmouth area than a prehistoric creature. Whether you believe Morgawr is a plesiosaur, a seal or a hoax, standing at the end of Pendennis Point looking out to sea, you can almost imagine something could be lurking beneath the water. The lost land of Lyonesse is the story of Cornwall's very own Atlantis. According to the legend, the land of Lyonesse could be found off the point of Land's End, stretching out to the Isles of Scilly. Lyonesse was said to be a beautiful place with a vast number of villages, 140 churches and a great city. On the 11th of November 1099, a terrible storm hit Lyonesse and enormous waves rushed over the land, destroying everything in their path with an uncontrollable fury. The 7-stone reef off Land's End was also once a part of the lost land. It is said that it is the remains of the great city, which is why to the local fishermen it was known as the town. On dark and stormy nights at Land's End, legend has it that you can still hear the eerie ringing of the sunken church bells. In the legends surrounding Lyonesse, there seem to be many reasons as for why it was lost to sea. Some locals claimed that Lyonesse was sunk by a divine wrath because of its people's unvirtuous living, while others say that the night Lyonesse was sunk there was a full moon and the highest tide anyone has ever seen quickly followed. But perhaps the most interesting detail of the legend is the truths behind it. While there is no evidence to suggest that a land as large as Lyonesse could have existed off Land's End in 1099, there is a lot of evidence to show a sudden rise in sea levels in this part of Cornwall. In the Roman times, the Isles of Scilly were just one large island. Although today there are many islands, at low tide the remains of many ancient buildings and stone field boundaries can be seen. These submerged structures are reminders that these shallow seas were once land. But this rise in sea levels wasn't just isolated to the Isles of Scilly, it also happened right here off the coast of Cornwall. The old Cornish name for St Michael's Mount is Carrick Lws an Cws, literally meaning the grey rock in the woods. Quite an odd name for an island, but back then St Michael's Mount wasn't an island. This evidence of a changing coastline and a significant loss of land suggests that while the details of the legend of Lyonesse may be exaggerated, the facts behind the legend are of real events.